What's up, everybody? Happy Friday. Hope all you're having a great day so far. Getting into this episode of GH, listen, a mess. This episode was just crazy as hell. Um, 50% of me feels bad for Valentine. The other 50% is like, yeah, this is a little bit of karma for your ass because not too long ago, he did the same thing to Nina, where he pretended Sasha was her child. He even faked DNA to prove it. You know, I don't feel that bad for him. I'm just saying, I don't. I feel bad because Charlotte got hurt in all of this. She's gonna get hurt in all of this when she gets told that Bailey is not really her sister because she bonded with that child. But I don't really feel all that bad for Valentino because he done pulled so many shenanigans over the years, so I can't feel too sorry for him. But he had that look in his face, like just pure emotion and rage. Like he just looked like he could snap at any second and just start strangling this girl. That's how his facial expressions was looking. Like he wanted to cry 1 minute, the next minute he looked like he was ready to smash his hand through a wall. And I can't blame him on that. Um, it sucks to fall in love, with a child that you think is yours, then come to find out it's not yours. And BLQ talking about, oh, I never intended for this to happen so long. I never intended for this. This was all of your intention. This was exactly what you intended to happen. Not that he would get hurt, but that you would get your ELQ stock back. That's what started part of this. That was part of her motivation for this. Other than helping Maxie out, that was really what she wanted. And that's what pisses Valentine off more because he doesn't know the whole story. He thinks that she did all of this over some damn stock, and that's how it started for her. It was kind of like you scratch my back, I scratch yours. She had a solution for Maxie's problem. Maxie had a solution for her problem. Um, it just so happens that this is all blowing up in their face at this point. Even though for the time being they got what they wanted out of it, but a lot of collateral damage in the process. I was so pissed at Bobby when she bumped into Chase at Charlie's because he was sitting there, mulling this whole thing over because in the back of his mind, he keeps thinking like the night BLQ gave birth does not make sense. So he made a phone call to the station trying to track her whereabouts for that night, for the night that she supposedly had the baby. And he mentioned Beecher's Corners. And that's when Bobby overheard and was like, oh, I was in Beecher's Corner right before Memorial Day. And he was wondering, was she there on vacation? She was like, no. So her ass decided to tell him some of what happened. She was like, oh, well, it ain't no secret now. It shouldn't make a big deal now. It shouldn't, telling him the secret or whatever shouldn't be a big deal. I'm like, ma'am, telling him the secret is a big deal for legal reasons. It's a very big deal. Like, are you trying to get Maxie locked up? Even though, luckily for Bobby didn't know the whole story. She only knew what she was supposed to do. Maxie never told her the end game of all of this. Like, she never told her BLQ's part in this or what they were planning. So that was smart on Maxie not to tell her that. But she just basically told Chase how, she went to Beecher's Corners to help Maxie deliver the baby in secret so Peter wouldn't know about it. So that way she could kind of keep the baby safe from him. But she didn't know what Maxie's end game was. So once she told him that and he got his confirmation from the people at the station about BLQ's whereabouts, he started putting the pieces together and he realized what happened. That this whole time Louise was never kidnapped. He was around her. She was under his nose this entire time as Bailey. So now he realizes that. But luckily for BLQ and Maxie, he doesn't have hardcore proof of this. He has enough circumstantial evidence to actually, get a warrant if he wanted to. It's enough. I mean, between Bobby's statement and the whereabouts of BLQ that night, I think it would be enough, but he would need more evidence. Because Maxie is looking at obstruction of justice charges. Remember, she lied to the cops and told the cops that nurse that Peter hired stole Louise from her and kidnapped her. She lied. She can go to jail for that. BLQ could be arrested as well for fraud. She's, an accessory to obstruction of justice. She's an accessory to that because she knew the truth the whole time. Hell, Valentine could probably sue BLQ for fraud. He could file a civil suit if he wanted to. So it's a lot of legal ramifications to this. But luckily for them, like I said, Chase doesn't really have hardcore evidence. He just has circumstantial that could still work in his favor if he wanted to. But at this point, it ain't looking like that's where it's going because this fool went to the hospital and admitted to Valentine that the baby is his baby, that Bailey is his. I'm like, Chase, what the hell are you doing, sir? Why are you helping them perpetuate this fraud? I'm just saying, like, why are you doing this? Like, do you love your job? Because if Chase gets involved in this and he doesn't bring this to the DA or to Mac or anybody, even though, Mac is temporarily running the station, ain't no telling what Mac would do in this situation. Ain't no telling. Like, would he arrest his own daughter? I don't know. Knowing the circumstances, I don't know if he would or not, but I think Chase is just trying to protect not only the baby, but he's trying to protect BLQ. But I think he's mostly doing this for the baby because he knows how dangerous Peter is. But it will have probably some ramifications on his job, though. There will be consequences if everybody finds out about this and knew he was a part of it, after the fact. Ain't no telling what can happen with him and his job, in lawsuits, and if Valentine chooses to go that route. I don't know. I mean, it's a hell of a gamble on his part, though, to do this. It really is, because this plan is falling by the wayside, and that's exactly what Maxie was telling Nina. She was like, listen, my whole plan is just backfiring right now. Like, it's imploding, and she knows it. And, at least Nina told her, she was like, yeah, she was like, I know the feeling, because Nina definitely knows where she's coming from, because the longer they wait to tell the truth about something, the worse the consequences and the fallout is going to be. It's like you're just messing with everybody at this point. A lot of people become collateral damage the longer you wait to tell something. So it looked like shit about to hit the fan with all of them. But judging by the previews for Monday, it looked like Chase is not happy about having to lie. He's not exactly ecstatic. I think he's doing this, like I said, for the baby's sake, but that's it. I think if it wasn't for that kid, BLQ would be in cuffs. So anyway, things are really not looking good for Sasha and this baby right now because they, have ran tests, they did her vitals, and things are not looking good. They have to do an emergency C-section because they said she has placental abruption. And my thing was, okay, she has placental abruption. Why are y'all not moving as fast as you can? Because if somebody has placental abruption, you got to move. They were, them nurses and doctors was moving a little slow. I was like, get her in there and get to this surgery now. Y'all taking y'all little sweet little time right now. That ain't nothing to play with. Because her life is seriously hanging by a thread the longer y'all wait. Like, y'all need to move. Shake a tail feather. Like, get on this thing. They was moving all like this is a everyday thing. I'm like, get the molasses out your ass and get that woman in the surgery now. What y'all waiting on? I felt bad for Brando because he didn't know what to do. And where the hell is Gladys? I can't even believe I'm asking that question. But wasn't she just at the hospital with them? Where'd she go all of a sudden? I feel super bad for Brando because he looked like he didn't know what to do. This baby's life is hanging in the balance. Sasha's life hanging in the balance. Thank God Maxie was there for him, walking with him to the OR and stuff. He had somebody there with him. Thank God. Because I couldn't imagine going through no shit like that by myself. Like, that's a lot. Like, that's crazy. So they doing the surgery and stuff like that. They get the baby out and they hold the baby up for them to see, but he's not crying. He's not making a sound. I was like, yeah, that's not good. That is not good at all. I'm like, listen, I know some people don't rock with Sasha and Brando or whatever, but I kind of like them because they're like the quiet part of the show. Because we got all this other drama going on, and sometimes you need a couple characters in here that's non-drama. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a little bit lighthearted. You need some people like that. So I don't mind Brando and Sasha, to be honest. Would I like to see them get more stuff to do? Yeah, but I like the quiet part of them. You know what I'm saying? Because we just got way too much going on. We can't be drama, drama, drama every second. We gotta have some lightheartedness, and I think they bring that. I would love to see Amy Driscoll though. I say this a lot because I think Amy has potential to be a more front burner character. You know what I'm saying? Especially in a hospital setting. Her, Felix, and what happened to her brother Chet? You know what I'm saying? Like I was hoping they would have gave Chet more to do. It's like so much lost potential that they could have did with. Um, but yeah, I mean, hopefully they not planning on killing off that kid or nothing like that, or Sasha for that matter. But it's looking like they're in dire straits at this point, and that's not a good thing. So anyway, moving on from that, Willow was hitting that heavy bag like she was on a mission. Like she was looking at somebody and she was ready to knock their head off. She was literally not playing no games today. Like she looked like she could kick Michael ass. So she was telling Michael about what happened at the square and stuff between Nina and Carly, and telling him about how Carly wanted to have Nina arrested. And here go Michael. Why? I'm not even surprised. Michael sitting there, oh go mom, and just all happy about it. Like he was okay with her potentially calling the cops on Nina. And my whole thought was, call the cops for what? Like I felt like that yesterday too when Carly was screaming about calling the cops. For what? What's the charge? It's not illegal to walk around and shop. It's not illegal to say hi to somebody. That's not illegal. Like, what are they gonna do? Pay some more people off to come up with more BS charges? Like, are you serious? Um, Last I checked, Michael never filed a restraining order against her. Neither did Sonny. All Sonny initially told her was just steer clear of my family. That's not a legal order. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not legally binding. So she didn't break any laws. She can't help who she runs into in public. Now, being on private property, coming to the mansion or something, that's different. Then you can possibly have her arrested on trespassing. But beyond that, seeing somebody in public, that's not an arrest. That's not an offense. You can't arrest somebody for that. There's no restraining order against her. So thank God the cops weren't called, because I'm like, that would have been a big waste of their time. Um, so yeah, it's like now they're talking about Thanksgiving plans and stuff like that. I do agree with Michael on that. I really do. That him, Wiley, and Willow should just go to the city, spend Thanksgiving in the city, going to the parade. I agree with that. I do, because you know what? That's how you avoid drama with the family. Because usually Michael has to either be at Sonny's house for Thanksgiving, or he has to be at the Quartermains, or he has to split his time between the two houses. So I think for drama's sake, for less drama, it's best that they just kind of do their own thing for Thanksgiving, which I agree. Because sometimes I be wanting to do that too with my own family. Trust me, drama personified. Um, I ain't mad at that, and Willow was all for it, because Willow definitely is not with the drama. So I think that was cool for her. That was like music to her ears. That just the three of them for Thanksgiving, that was a blessing to her, and I'm not mad at it. I do agree with what somebody said in my comments yesterday. I really don't think Willow's gonna cut it in the Corinthos family, the Corinthos Quartermain clan. I don't think so, because the mere sight of drama seems to be too much for her. Like even if it's small drama, it seems to like get to her, you know. Whereas people like Michael and Dante and other people, they're used to that shit. They've been around a long time. They're used to that foolishness. But somebody like Willow, who's a turn the cheek kind of person, turn the other cheek, she's not with all of that. So I don't know how long she's gonna last in that family, because it just don't. All that drama just seems like it doesn't. It's not her cup of tea. She can't handle it. So I guess we'll wait and see what happens with that. Honestly, I thoroughly enjoyed the conversation Sonny and Carly had in the park. I love that conversation, because I feel like Sonny and Carly got real. Like that conversation was getting real. Thank God Bobby popped up when she did. Actually, I ain't even gonna say thank God Bobby popped up. I was actually kind of irritated that Bobby walked in on that moment, because they were getting real about Nina and what happened in Nixon Falls, because he was letting Carly know, like, whether she likes it or not, 9 months away from the family does change you. It does. A lot has changed between them. Carly, has it in her mind that no, nothing's changed. Yes, it has. Even when he came home. If he hadn't come home, her and Jason would have been fucking, to put it mildly. She was sitting there unbuttoning that man's shirt when he walked in. And you say nothing's changed? Like, y'all could just go back to normal? Like, y'all could just shut y'all feelings off? That's not how that works. Like, Carly can't just shut her feelings off for Jason. Those feelings are still there. Sonny can't just shut his feelings off for Nina. Those feelings are there. You know, for 9 months, well, for 6 months, he, was around Nina during that time. And she was a friend to him during that time that he was Mike. And Carly was pissed about that. She did not want to hear those words that Nina was his friend. She was like, so you consider Nina your friend? And he's not saying it like that. He's saying while he was Mike, she was a friend. Like, Carly just didn't want to hear it. Like, she was about to blow a gasket. But Sonny was getting real with her, though. He was just letting her know, like, whether you like it or not, Mike, who I was in Nixon Falls, is integrated in me. Like, that's what he was trying to explain to her, whether she like it or not. And that's why he just doesn't want to go after Nina, because he just wants to move on, because the old Sonny would have went after her with a vengeance. But he's a different version of what he once was. And for me, I kind of like it, because for years we've always seen the same old Sonny. Angry, hostile, volatile, hot-headed, throwing barware. So it's kind of a refreshing thing to see kind of a different version of him. Like, we know he can snap back into that old Sonny when he's in mob mode. But it's good to see that when he's around different people, he can snap out of that. You know what I'm saying? So I think it gives him another layer. So I'm glad that they're doing that, whether Carly likes it or not. So, of course, Bobby popped up and stuff, and Sonny made up an excuse to leave, and, Bobby was asking her if the reason that they were so tense was because of her and Jason. She was like, nah, we got past that. So Bobby was like, that's good, because the one thing you don't need is a third person in your marriage. I'm like, ma'am, if only you knew that there actually was a third person in that marriage, and her name is Nina. I'm just saying. Speaking of Nina, she was at the pub or whatever looking for Phyllis, and of course, Sonny pops up. I cannot wait for that conversation. Like, this little lovers triangle, lovers quarrel that they're all having, I find it funny and interesting. Because at some point, Sonny's going to have to make a drastic decision, because there's no way in the world Carly is going to be okay with Nina possibly being in their life in some friend capacity to him, or whatever it is he's about to suggest, or, whatever. Carly's not going to be cool with that. She's not. But my thing is, if Carly wants justice, she just going to have to bypass Sonny and go get it. You know what I'm saying? Like, forget about what Sonny's talking about. Just go get you some justice. So anyway, moving on from that, Peter ass done got them lost. He roaming through the tunnels with his guard and Obrecht and Brett. He done got them lost. That man don't know where the hell he going. And Obrecht told him, she was like, you got us lost. Like, you don't even know where we going. And the tunnels are unstable. Any loud noise or anything of that nature could collapse those tunnels on them. So they need to find a way to get the hell up out of there quickly. And Drew, thank God, he used his Navy training or whatever, his SEAL training, to track Peter's, whereabouts, like his footsteps, trace them and stuff like that. So they found him or whatever, and Drew pretty much told Jason the same thing, like, any loud noise, gunfire, these tunnels are going to collapse on us. So they found him. They start opening fire. The bodyguard shooting. The bodyguard said, forget this. He gave up. He surrendered. Peter ass done disappeared. And, Jason and Drew were talking about looking for Peter. Obrecht put her foot down. Obrecht was like, listen, this place is about to collapse. She said, we ain't got time to be looking for Peter, raggedy ass. We got to get out of here. She was like, because I'll be damned if I die up in this bitch. Like, we got to go. Like, that woman done been through enough. She was like, I got to go. I don't blame her, because I would have been the same way. Y'all sitting here trying to look for Peter. Fuck him. Let's get out of here before we die. So, of course, Peter pop up, start shooting at them and stuff. Jason shot him in the arm. I'm like, Jason, between Jason and Drew, who are both skilled marksmen, how are y'all not killing this man? Jason, of all people, who's a damn good shot him in the arm. I said, Jason, why you ain't shoot him in the head or the chest or something? In the arm? I said, come on, Jason, you better than this. I seen you shoot people. You are much better than this. Because usually when Jason shoot people, he be on some Walker Texas Ranger type shit when he shoot. You know how Walker used to just pull out the gun and they got shot in the chest. That's how Jason be shooting. I'm like, how all of a sudden now all you get is an arm? That's the best you could do is a non-fatal area? Jason, do better. You need to go to the gun range. Do better. I'm disappointed. So they all shooting and shit. I'm like, y'all, what are y'all doing? Peter ass done disappeared yet again. I said, this fool got 9 lives. Like, how he keep disappearing on them? And the damn tunnels done collapsed. And Drew, Britt, Obrecht are all knocked out. Jason is buried underneath the damn rubble. I was like, oh my goodness. Please tell me they are not doing another Jason presumed dead shit. I ain't got the time for that. Like, y'all need to do better than that. Like, they might find him. He might be in a coma again or some bullshit. I'm like, listen, figure it out. Figure it out. Anyway, that was a pretty good cliffhanger Friday. That was pretty good. You know, Sasha and her baby's life is hanging in the balance. Jason, Drew, Obrecht, Britt, their life is hanging in the balance. I like that. Carly and Sonny's marriage is hanging on by a loose thread. You pull that little thread and that bitch, the rings is coming off. This was good though. I enjoyed this. BLQ and Maxie's freedom is hanging in the balance because the fraud and the obstruction of justice might get them. But this was good. I enjoyed it. This was a good Friday cliffhanger. Hit the comment section. Let me know what you guys thought about it. I will see you all Monday. Hope you all have a wonderful night. Have a wonderful weekend. See you all later. Peace.